it's the Mad Queen. Welcome to the Queen's Lair, and we are joined by Trigger Happy John. Trigger Happy John, if you don't know, played Ace as a content creator for quite some time before the game actually globally released, and a little bit. Well, and you left. When did you leave, John?
So I think I left actually. If you remember the hero Clarence, I believe it just came out right as I was leaving. I want to say that was like one of the last YouTube videos I made on my main channel, and that was right before Diablo Immortal launched. So I actually quit Ace because of a couple of decisions they had made, and then Diablo Immortal was launching, and actually myself and Veiled Shot Gaming kind of we talked it out, and we had that same epiphany of like, hey, you know what? We weren't really excited where the direction Ace was going at the time, and Diablo Immortal was coming out. We knew that'd be a good opportunity. We just started Aftershock United, and we decided, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put all of our eggs in that basket, and we both quit playing Awaken awakenchaosera at the time. So that was right when Diablo Immortal launched, and Clarence was the legendary hero that just came out. So it's probably close to almost 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer.
And John was actually one of the motivators for me to even do YouTube, which is pretty cool because I only did streaming on Twitch for a little while, actually for quite some time, and him and a couple of other people were like, "You need to make content on YouTube," and I'm just like, "I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work. I don't know if I want to do that." But here we are. So
It is a lot.
it is. It really is. So thanks to John, I am actually making content. But I want to talk to him today about the reasons he left the game and the reasons he's decided to come back. Of course, if you are a normal viewer of mine, you know that I have been having a heyday with with Ace and all the things I've been saying recently. I've not been holding back. And if you want to see more of me not holding back, go to John's channel where we also did another video going over the collab that's coming out. I asked John before we did this on his channel. I was like, "Hey, like do you care if I'm like totally honest? Do you want me to bring it down a bit or what? Because I need to know, I need to know before I start saying stuff on your channel because I am really honest, brutally." So, John, I want to talk to you. What were the main reasons that made you leave the game?
I think first things first to talk about, like, for example, and a lot of people will see, like, we go to my channel to watch the club. We did. We actually talked about one of the packs that's currently being offered in the game, which is where you can get Gala for $100. Back when I left, I had just achieved that goal. So because I couldn't do Dragon, I couldn't do the Dragon because I didn't have King Gallo. There was content I couldn't do as a content creator because I didn't have one champion, and it really irritated me. The fact that it cost over $4,000 just for me to get that champion on my one account, and a lot of people can't afford that, right? Like I was very fortunate that my work allows me to be able to afford that kind of play money. On top of, I did have generous benefactors that were watching my stream and YouTube videos that would donate and help me out try to get this character. So that was kind of like the first toe out the door when I started thinking about, okay, you know what? I don't know if this game is going to make it, or if I want to keep doing content on it. And the more I kept playing it, like I enjoyed playing the game, but it got to the point where the content was becoming very stale. They were making promises on, hey, we're going to get these types of updates, we're going to get this new content, which they have now. But back when we were doing it, we are like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like they weren't listening to us. They weren't taking what we were saying in consideration. We were saying you need to advertise because they have a good game. They weren't doing it. They're talking about, hey, we're going to do real time arena. It comes out. Well, it was botched. They didn't do a good job on it on its initial release, and nobody wanted to play it. They were talking about, hey, we're going to do this guild versus environment situation. We were all super pumped for that, which actually got released right before we quit. And then we go to dive into it, and they're like, this isn't very engaging. And they pulled it, right? Like they literally launched it, and then they pulled it for like 2 weeks. Like we got a beta test of it essentially, and it was done.
Yeah.
It was those kind of things that started putting like the writing on the wall. Like, okay, we're telling you you need to be doing these types of things to promote your game, to get growth, to make a substantial player base, and you're not listening to us. But at the same time, they were doing small quality of life things that were just enough to keep us kind of motivated to play, right?
Oh, they've been doing that to me for over a year, John. Olive branch. Go ahead.
Exactly. So unfortunately, it just came down to one of those situations where we're seeing the writing on the wall. They're not listening to us. They're not giving us that content. And we were at a wall before Diablo Immortal launched. For about a month and a half, there was nothing. There was legitimately, other than quality of life updates, there was no actual new content released other than some legendary champions. They were adding elites, they weren't adding epics, it was only legendaries, and they are all Ascension 5 to unlock their special abilities, so you had to be a whale to do them. So they're going in the direction of being a whale game. And so when Diablo Immortal came out, and they're like, hey, this is a AAA game title, it was a no-brainer for me to say, hey, you know what? They're not listening, they're not doing what we're asking. Even though I'm enjoying it and liking the game, I'm going to go check this out instead. Now, Diablo Immortal, for those of you who know, obviously it wasn't that successful. It helped my channel. My channel grew 5 times full. But yeah, now looking back at it, wasn't a great game. Do I regret leaving Ace? Not really. Because honestly, since coming back to Ace, and the only reason to be quite frank and blunt about it, the only reason I'm coming back to Ace is one, they asked. Okay. Secondly, they asked very nicely. They did offer me, they gave me some shards and a little bit of resources, which actually was funny. They gave me less resources for coming back than what I was getting when I was like one of the top 3 or 4 content creators. Really awkward in this
Yep.
situation. Um, which kind of ties into the whole like obviously the game direction. It still went towards being like a whale status, but they're also going to do the Attack on Titan crossover, and I always enjoyed playing Ace because I enjoyed the grind, I enjoyed the graphics, I enjoyed a lot of like how the game operates and plays. It was just unfortunate that as a content creator, it just wasn't that big of a deal for me, or but wasn't as growing a community for me, and so on and so forth. But I do want to give them the shot at playing the game because they are going to do a crossover with an anime that's one of my favorite ones out there, and I'm going to pick up the characters. So they told me this ahead of time. They're like, hey, we're going to do this collab, we're going to do this crossover, we're going to do the advertisement just like you guys said. So I'm back. I'm waiting to see what happens. I'm very interested to see what do we do from here. How does the game progress? How does it go from here? I know you've been playing it this entire time. So
Yes.
do you feel like they're gonna nail this? Like, do you feel confident in this collab? Like,
No, I don't. I don't feel confident at all, and I think this is really one. It's one of those things where it's like you're gonna have to wait and see because they haven't they haven't done anything at all in quite a long time to instill any confidence at all either. And touching on a little bit of what you said earlier, like them offering incentive to come back and things like that. I actually had not created a video for Ace in like a month, and so they reached out to me as well, asking if I would come back, and I was promised like, oh, we'll give you this, this, and this, and we'll help you with this, and that actually did not really happen with me, which was extremely frustrating because there was a new game that came out and I was focusing a lot on that game, Eternal Evolution. But I did not stop playing the game. Like I've said time and time again, I love this game. But as a viewer, you guys also have to keep in mind that for people that are making content and trying to actually make a living out of it, we can't necessarily always be super choosy. Like, we can't always just play the game just because we love it, which is extremely
I mean, it is
unfortunate.
just work. Like, we have bills to pay. Like, if the viewership's dying, if the Google Trends, like, legitimately, anyone who's watching this, like, who wants to be a content creator or thinking about it, the biggest thing before any of us ever touch a game is you go to Google Trends, you type in the game, you compare it to a couple other games, and you see where it's trending. If it's trending super low or at the bottom, chances are you're not going to get any views. So you're going to waste your time making content. You may be enjoying the game. Don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoy playing the game. But if my videos aren't getting more than 1,000 views, I've 100% wasted my time and energy and effort, right? And that's the end of the day. If you're someone who's trying to pay your bills, if you're trying to do things, I mean, you got to do those things. Also, that also means everyone should be hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps out tremendously. Just in case you guys are wondering.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. But yeah, and it is a little bit different for me because my husband, I'm very fortunate enough to where, he makes enough money. So I've been able to actually 100% take time away from everything to try to be a content creator, which is why I've really started to pick up on a lot of content that I've been making over the last like 5 or 6 weeks, because I finally was able to put all of the other stuff aside that was kind of holding me back and really just dedicate into this. So it's made me take this a lot more seriously and look at it differently, because I do love content creation, but a lot of people don't understand it's also like having 2 or 3 full-time jobs at the same time, which is why for John, who is somebody that does have a full-time job, it's not as easy for him to actually play a game just because he enjoys it, you know? So it's a little bit different with our situations. And I'm at the point, and I've said this in other videos, where if it doesn't change soon, I'm out. And I have been putting olive branch after olive branch after olive branch out. I've been here for over a year. I have always been one of the smaller content creators within the game, always. That's okay. I started making content for this game because I genuinely really like the game. And I never intended in the first place to actually be like a content creator until, kind of recently, when I was like, you know what, I'm actually going to really give this a shot and see if I can do anything with it. So now I try to take it much more seriously, and working with other games, and John can attest to this as well. He's worked with way more games than I have. I am part of programs with other games that have a lot less requirements for you and give you so much more in return, because you don't understand how much money some of us put into. I mean, even as myself, as a small content creator, I put thousands of dollars into this to be able to just make content so I can have energy or have an account that's even worth looking at or making content from. Because, no, you know what I mean? You want to.
I mean, it's a big deal. Like, unfortunately, like games like these, like Ace is a good game. We both agree. Like, playing the game, it feels good.
Excellent game. Excellent. Yes.
However, if they don't do anything, then it's hard for us to continue to make content on it because we don't see an ROI.
Especially when it's all out of our pocket. I'm telling you, Ace does. If you've ever, we're not allowed to say specifically, but if you've ever wondered, like, the kind of rewards we get, oh, they must be so good, for making content. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They are not worth it at all. And that is not why we're making content for this game. And compared to other games,
I'm a part of about 7 content creator programs, and that's not including. I actually helped with 5 other games that I was like really involved in. That they actually paid me money for getting them ready, getting things going, and then those games just flopped. They never even made it like. They never even made it to the Google Play Store, but yet they were actually paying me dollars. Like,
you have to put that stuff up front, honestly. If you don't put that certain level of risk up in the beginning, look where we're at now. They are getting like no new player base at all. And if you look in the Discord, I don't know if you guys watching are not in the official Discord, you should definitely check it out. There's a suggestions tab in there where you can see all of the people that have invested a load of time, energy, and money into this game and have been playing for a very long time, putting some really salty, sassy things in there about how they want some of this stuff to be changed, and they're just really upset. And I'm one of those people too, except for me, I'm putting it on videos and airing it, like, I don't know. I love the game. They don't do anything or enough for their community, and they really don't do a lot for their content creators either. So us being here making videos for this game is honestly, it's like, why am I? Like, I ask myself a lot.
because, like I said, like the resources they gave me for coming back were pretty much nothing, right? And even then, like looking at the resources that are what you get now, depending on your views or whatever, they're actually less than what they were back when I started. So
and I've said that.
I've been in the program since like second beta of the game, like as far as like the infancy, right? And they're less rewarding. And then on top of that, like when you ask someone who I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was one of the more go-to content creators.
Yeah, I believe that.
Back in the day.
I would agree with that. I guess I should say.
So when you ask that person to come back, like, hey, we want you to make this content, I'm immediately checking out the game and I'm like looking at the changes, going, okay, I need this, this, and this, and this.
Exactly.
Make, like 7 or 8 videos explaining it, breaking it down, yada yada. But I need those resources.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get the immediate response back up, I don't think the developer's going to go for that because they don't want to give that to anyone. That's a immediate red flag for me because I'm like, you're asking one of the higher up content creators to come back to a game which we aren't getting paid to do.
No, no.
I'm not going to make any money off of any of my Ace videos. More than like, I'm doing this more for fun and enjoyment. And they're like, no, we can't really give you these resources. Well, that's kind of a bad sign because if I can't make the content, I'm not going to upfront put my money back in. Let me quit the game. Why would I turn around and reinvest $4,000 like I did before to make content on a game that has less viewership?
There's no return. There's no return at all in any way. And, it's just Ace, for a long time, was known for having a really good community, which was nice. And one of the best game communities out there within this kind of genre, that is. And they built that, and then they just like kicked everybody to the curb. Basically, the gaming community is not there like it used to be, and it used to be incredible, which is extremely unfortunate. And it's sad because as somebody that's been here the whole time, I've been a content creator now for almost a year. I believe I became a content creator in February of 2022. So that means next month I would be a content creator for a year. But it's just really frustrating because they've raised requirements for us that they want us to meet, whereas there are less people playing the game, less people viewing the game. It makes it harder for us. And you can ask John. He's in the same content creator section as me in the Discord, which is, like an exclusive area for content creators. It's also known as like hell, basically. But I've been so tired of it. And he can even attest. I just don't care anymore. I was typing it and typing it and typing it. And I'm just like, they were like, well, we're getting ready to go for like the New Year's Christmas break. And I was like, well, I'll try to keep my nagging comments to a minimum until you come back then. And so, because I'm tired of it. I've spent so much money and I love this game. And it's not an issue of the game. The game is great. It's everything else. And if they could just change that, this game could be a really, really good game.
I mean, that's why I came back, right? Like, I wanted to test the waters. I wanted to see what happens. I enjoyed the game. I never not enjoyed the game. It was just, it didn't make sense, right? Now I'm back. I'm playing it again. We're giving it a shot. I want to see what happens. Hopefully they do well. And
Hopefully this is the turnaround. That's, we're all waiting on it. Everybody that plays the game wants it, It's not just...
I think this one's better than, I think Ace is best. So I make content for Infinite Magic Rain. I do some content for Raid Shadow Legends. I do content for Diablo Immortal. I feel like this game has more potential than this.
This game has so much.
They have a good built game. It's just all a matter of what they do. This collab, I feel like, is going to make or break Awaken chaosera, and if they don't nail it, then I guess we'll make a video on love. This is why Ace didn't succeed.
And I don't want to do that. I know I've
I don't make that video.
yeah.
They don't make that
Yeah,
video.
I honestly, I really love this game. And I don't, it's not that I enjoy coming in making these videos, basically like taking dumps on Ace. That's not it. But I feel like at this point, I have 100% earned my right to say whatever I feel about it because of all of the money and time I've invested into this. And again, a great game that is just not being, it's just missing a few pieces that are really, really small and easy to make. They just have to stop being stingy, is all it is. They're being stingy with what they're giving back to the community and what they expect from people. So
I 100% agree. Hopefully they listen to our pleas, our cries. She's like, not kidding when she said she said a lot of things in our content creator chat. Yes, I've literally woken up to paragraph on paragraph going, oh, ain't reading that.
it's true. Paragraphs.
Giving input back, which is good. That's what we have to have. That's what we need you guys to do as well. We
Yes.
engage in these videos, leave comments, go to the main official Discord that she said. go join it.
It doesn't mean anything. These videos don't mean anything if you guys don't put input on it. And they're not going to change anything based on what we're saying. They're going to have to see a huge amount of the community. Yes, exactly. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, John?
I think that's it. I mean, I'm excited to come back. Obviously, it's fun to do a collab with you. It's great to see. So for those of you who don't know, I helped Maclean a lot back when she first started doing content.
Yes.
On YouTube. And it's very fun, and I'm excited. I get to see like what she's evolved to over this past year, year or two. When I was helping Anna, I was literally going step by step. You need to click this button, this
Oh,
button,
yeah.
this button, this button. So it's really exciting. Thank you so much for having me on your channel and doing a collab with me. I'm very happy to see what you've done so far, how you've progressed, and obviously, yeah, I'm glad to be back playing Awaken Chaosera to see how this goes. And hopefully we can do more collabs in the future talking about how
Yes.
the game is.
Hey, I hope so. I hope so. John has been an excellent supporter. Even when I had literally no followers or viewings on Twitch, he was really nice and kind enough to step in and offer to help out with anything I needed. And he's great for supporting smaller content creators, which is another reason why I really like and appreciate John. So make sure you guys go to his channel and give him a sub as well. I will leave a link to his channel actually in the video description. But thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.